Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's Backroom Reacts. It's your boy Cam.
It's your boy Ryan.
And we is back with another video. And today we got a Jubilee.
Yes, sir.
Are men superior to women? Alphas versus betas.
Middle ground. Now, we just skimmed through the timestamps, and they got some interesting topics going on.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, they do. So how we gonna do this is, as y'all, it's an hour-long video. We gonna break these up into little timestamps, little chapters, or whatever y'all wanna call them. And we just gonna talk about it. We gonna debate, talk about it. We agree, disagree. Just looking at the titles alone, we already been having discussions. So.
Yeah, that's a fact. So yeah, maybe we probably won't go through the whole hour because we have other stuff to react to. Plus the camera might down us before we even get to the end of it. But if I do want a part 2, if we don't get to something, just let us know down below. We'll definitely get to it. Other than that, let's jump in. I'm excited. These topics look interesting.
Yeah, bro. And I know y'all see the dude on the screen, bro. I know everybody that's seen him on TikTok. Bro, giving out game, giving out knowledge.
Facts.
So I want to see what he talking about, because he be on some different kind of timing,
yeah,
bro.
He be spitting. And just know we're definitely gonna put our own 2 cents into things that we think that sounds crazy, or if we agree or we disagree, So that's also a reason why we're not gonna react to the whole hour video, because then it would be like a 2-hour-long video with us talking over it.
For sure.
But like I said, if I want the part 2, just let us know down below. We'll get to it for sure. But other than that, you already know. Just like and subscribe if you enjoy. Turn on post notifications to know when we upload. And other than that, let's get into it.
Straight into it. I want to see what this dude got to say about some of these topics.
For sure.
Should be the stable ones. Men don't need to be crying in front of women, and ideally they're not splitting chores. And I don't mean that disrespectfully, but I think that if a woman cannot look up to you in some way, then she cannot respect you, and if she cannot respect you, she cannot love you.
I totally disagree.
I totally agree.
Totally disagree.
Step forward if you agree with the prompt. Men are designed to want to sleep with multiple women.
Before they go, what do you think about that?
That's hard, bro. That's hard. Are men designed to want to sleep with multiple women? Yes and no.
All right.
Yes and no. But for the fun of it, I'm gonna say yes.
You gonna say yes? Me personally, the only reason I'll say no is specifically because of like what I've read in the Bible and stuff like that.
100%.
That
would be a clear no.
Exactly. For sure. So to me, I don't think so. I think if a man can control his lust towards women, it's much more, to me, it's much more respectable than somebody that wants to just keep sleeping with multiple women and stuff like that.
There you go. 100%. Because I feel like if you built like that, bro, topics like this will be no discussion.
Right. So I don't know. Let's see what they say.
Oh, for sure. I want to see who's gonna step forward.
Yeah, I would say I definitely agree that men, want to sleep with multiple women. I think it's natural because one of the things is because we have so much sperm and that we produce so much sperm, and that makes us want to repopulate the earth basically. And so a lot of times what happens is I think that society is telling men not to do that for whatever reason, you know what I mean? And some guys fall into that, but I definitely believe that, men actually want to be with multiple women because it's just a natural thing in us. This is why you hear all the time, men always cheating and guys feel like they, trying to hide the cheating and everything like that. And if it was natural for them to just want to be with that one woman, then cheating wouldn't even be an issue. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I look at it.
Yeah, I think for the way we were cultured, I agree with that, but also just through human history, right, for survival, maybe this is old school thinking, but it's just like for survival, you need to have lots of kids. So if someone's pregnant, how do you keep multiplying? More women, right? Not saying it's right or wrong, but it's just kind of the way. I think women even cheat too. It's like 50-50.
Yeah, I think women also want to do their thing, you know what I'm saying, in some situations, you know what I'm saying? So I don't think it's just men. I think it's a natural, I feel like because that desire is there, it's a natural thing for, if we're talking specifically men, that desire to want to do it is natural in us, so then therefore you're going to want to do it. So I don't think it's a a natural thing to just be with this one woman, but at the same time, when I'm with this one woman, I only want to stay with her. It's almost like I'm lying to myself if I just want to be with her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, that makes perfect sense. But the question is that the end point? Is being with multiple women the end point? I'm of the firm belief that it is important to position yourself as a man to have the capacity to be with as many women as you possibly can, and position yourself in a way where you understand female nature and you maximize your potential as a man. And that's where I don't necessarily agree that just because there's a deeper desire to continue to do it means it's going to be the most optimal thing for you and your own ability to thrive at the highest level and connect with God here on earth.
I was taught not to be with multiple women, right? But it's like, especially, I mean, here's the thing, especially when you're in a relationship, right? It's like, it's better to grow together with somebody than multiple people, which I totally agree. But I think in the dating terms, it's like, there's nothing wrong with being multiple women, because I think that's just dating. It's experimenting, it's finding other people. But are we naturally made to just always be with one person? It's like, if that were true, then these first thoughts of being with another woman, even though I'm in a committed relationship, would never occur. But it comes up once in a while. But it doesn't mean I'm acting upon it. So,
And you might be being generous about saying once in a while. It probably comes up quite a bit.
it depends what kind of relationship you're in, I guess, or how good of a day it is, right? Like, but I would say for me, if it was totally natural, even though I was nurtured into only being with one woman, that these thoughts wouldn't occur then.
Right. And the thing with me, I'm non-monogamous. So I have a wife, I have a girlfriend, and I still, from time to time hook up with other girls. You know what I mean? And so
That's
What?
crazy.
Wait, hold on. Did I like?
No, you heard it right. He said a wife
got a
and a
wife and
girlfriend,
he
and
got
I
a
still hook
girlfriend.
up with other different women. I understand where they're coming from, as
Yeah,
in
I do
like a natural urge of being with other women. I definitely
Right.
understand that, and they're not saying it's right or wrong right now. They're just saying are men naturally
Right, they state their
yeah,
opinion,
like
yeah.
that. And that, yeah, I agree. Naturally, men are like that.
For sure, yeah.
But like I
100%.
said, it's all about if you're able to control that. I feel like it's what's important. But I understand what they're saying right now. But him saying he has a wife and a girlfriend and still sleep with other women is kind of crazy to me.
Yeah, bro, I don't agree with
Yeah,
that.
I don't
bro.
agree with that either. But
Okay. So wait, how does this work? So they asked the question. They said if you agree with the question, you step forward. So do they ask the questions for one side and they step forward and ask the same
No,
question
no,
for
no.
the other side?
It's just whoever agrees with it. If you agree with it, you just step forward and sit down and you have a conversation, right?
Okay, bet,
And then I'm
bet.
assuming after, like, I haven't really watched any of these, but I'm assuming after they finish saying their idea or whatever, then the other people will come in and then argue that idea,
Okay.
So that's what I think is gonna be happening here.
And the thing is, it feels regular to me. It doesn't feel like I'm trying to do it or doing it because I'm forcing myself. It just feels just natural, like it's something I want to do. You know what I mean? And so to not do it feels unnatural. You might just want this one woman for a relationship. I can understand that. But sexually, though, I think it's all BS.
Yeah, I agree. I think a man can absolutely be head over heels in love with a woman and still sleep with other women and it not mean anything to him.
Right.
And I think all men have the proclivity to want to sleep with other women. Now, whether they're able to speak to that and actually act on that or not, or if they've been able to, like you said, like religiously find a way to work around it. And I think religion has been great for that, because if it weren't for religion, we probably would not have society. But I think what's most important to identify is that a man should create choice in his life. And if you have choice, you should be able to do as you wish, particularly like in your case, like in my case, if there's no deceit.
Exactly.
It's the lying. That, in my opinion, is actually the overall problem when guys, tend to go outside of a relationship. They lie to the woman.
Right.
That's the problem.
So when I was growing up, I was under the belief of just being with one woman, right? Like I was a virgin for a very long time. Then one girl broke my heart. So that caused like a lot of insecurity, resentment towards the other side, right? And then I just became like a man whore for a little bit.
The problem is you have guys who are monogamous, but they're monogamous because they're forced to be monogamous, in a way meaning that they have no choice because they don't have the skill to attract multiple women.
And a lot of times they'll use that as virtue signaling. I would never do such a thing. Well, actually, bro, you can't.
All right. Can the disagreeers step forward?
Uh-oh.
The points they're making is they're valid. I can't lie, they're valid.
I agree. Yeah. if it wasn't for religion, I do feel like everybody and their mama would be cheating.
Right.
There wouldn't be no boundaries or no choices.
Right.
I agree with that 100%. But overall, this is some good conversation.
Yeah, it's a good
I ain't gonna lie to
conversation.
you.
I'm excited to see what the arguments are gonna be.
Go on tour and things like that. My friends would always try to encourage me to like look over girls.
Man, let me stop, bro. let me stop, man.
I mean, like,
What the, bro?
that's a crazy fit, bro. That's a crazy fit.
Were on to me, but I wasn't really like into it.
Bro,
And
no. I
hook up
wonder.
with girls like that. My friends would always try to encourage me to like hook up with girls that were on to me, but I wasn't really like into it, and it made me feel like weird, like off, like there was something wrong with me. And now I'm at a point in my life where I feel like I'm only having sex with multiple women, so I'm not weird, so I'm quote unquote normal. I feel like even when I do have sex with these random women, it doesn't give me any gratification. And I know that comes with like random sex in the end, but I know in the back of my mind that like I just like simply don't enjoy this. Like I've been with multiple women and I've been with one woman, and being with one woman is just so peaceful. As far as like telling young men that they're born this way and that they should feel this way, it can really not do damage, but just sort of make you second guess things about yourself. Am I normal? Am I weird? Is there something off about me? Everyone else around me is saying that I have to feel this way or I have to do these things, but yet I don't feel the courage to do those things.
I would say that's not true, though. I don't think that we should promote men sleep with multiple women. I think that we should promote choice and what feels right to you. So in your particular case, I would never tell you to sleep with multiple women. I think you might be doing the right thing to do exactly what you're doing and not do it or stop doing it. It's not about pushing it on the young men, but I'll tell you, there's a lot of young men that have a demon inside and maybe are really upset and frustrated with themselves because they feel a certain way. And it's like, oh, I'm coming out the closet. I'm straight, or super straight or too straight or whatever it is. I think that it's really going to be about choice, man. So if me to you, I tell you, if that you don't feel good doing that, man, I wouldn't do it at all.
Yeah, I agree. In your situation, what was happening, and this is what I think a lot of times what happens is you have guys who will have sex with multiple women because they're trying to fill a void. So it shouldn't be about filling a void. It should be about you actually desiring. So you don't desire to do it, so which is why you shouldn't do it. But there are guys who desire to do it, but then they're suppressing their desire, and then it's doing the same thing as you not wanting to do it. Like they feel weird about not doing it, but they want to, whereas you felt weird doing it, but you didn't want to.
I think it's a society thing. Like what you just said, who's making them feel guilty about not doing it? Other men. The reason, I think women and men, the question was, do you feel that men are meant to sleep with multiple women? Or they're just, that's what they do. And I don't think that's true. I think it's a part of your character and who you are. I do believe that if you're going to be honest with your partner is into it, but do I believe that we are biologically meant and it's in our head because we have to procreate and this and that? I don't believe that. I believe the reason we do it a lot is because it's looked upon as a great thing for men to have multiple women. Women are shamed for that. Shamed totally. I have one son and two daughters, and I know the difference of how I felt when they were 15 or in their 20s. Now they were 15 versus him having multiple partners or my daughter.
So if I could struck a check for $1 million and never feel that feeling again, I absolutely would. I really, really would. It's something that I really hated myself for, and I felt very apart. I grew up in the South Louisiana. It was a Bible Belt. And I felt very distant from people around me because I had this urge in me and could not understand why I was so different. Like the biggest self-hate I've ever felt in my life is over this particular subject. I thought I was broken.
And I understand you. And me, again, I'm going to come back with, just being around it. And me, I'm bisexual. I've always have been. But like you heard me say, I've been married to a woman for 30 years. And I've been committed for 30 years. It doesn't that I don't have that desire. It's my character to say, this is my person, and that's who I want to be with.
So that's
you're
what
making a character versus is drive.
I was going to
Right,
say.
but then that goes back to, are we just built that way? Because if we're just built that way as men, then there's multiple people that I'm going to want to sleep with.
But I think what I was under the impression with that question was, are we biologically DNA
Right.
created for that? I say yes, but I loved and I agree with what we're saying here. It's like, but as men, right, in the culture and awareness and being a human being, having a consciousness, choice, language, we can choose not to. We can go against those desires or urges and stuff.
If you feel that desire and you're honest with your partner, I believe that is true. Do I believe that we are biologically meant to, we just biologically want to sleep with more people because we have a penis between our legs and not a vagina? I don't.
Well, let me ask you this, though, because you said you're bisexual. So that means you're attracted to men and women, right? So if you're with a woman, well, aren't you also attracted to men? So wouldn't you want a man and a woman?
No.
So you're just like, I just want one and that's
I made a commitment. And it's not even like I'm...
But there's no urge to want
There's always
more?
urge.
That's what I'm that's what we're talking about.
But that doesn't mean that I'm biologically... I think men and women both have urges.
Where do you think the urge is coming from, though, if it's not biologically inside of you?
I think the urge comes from... I don't think it's a biological thing. I think
temptation, not urge.
But the urge creates temptation, no?
But is temptation bad? Like you say it in a way that's kind of like temptation.
I don't think temptation's bad.
Natural.
I don't think it's a thing of... Then that goes back to all of us then. All of us are meant to sleep with multiple people. So then that's just a whole different society thing. But it's not just... The question was, as men, are we? And I don't think so.
But regardless, I think it's important to understand, 'cause I think we are. And if we can come to terms with that, we can begin to move past it if that's what we desire. But if we reject that idea that it's not natural, then we can't move past it if that's something that someone wants to do.
But do you agree it's just men? Do you agree with that statement that it's just
No, I think it's women too.
Okay. That's where I
yeah.
disagree.
Oh, no, because we were just talking men.
Right.
But I agree that it's men and women.
What it sounded like was, and correct me if I'm wrong, people started talking about like infidelity and, you know, telling the truth. And I think like the urges and things are okay until you act upon it. And that's when both adults just have to have a conversation about, you know, this isn't working out for me. I still want to, you know, sleep around or whatever you want to call it. It sounds like some people want to have their cake and eat it too, which I don't necessarily agree with. But I think just as long as all parties involved have an understanding of what they're getting into, I don't see the issue.
I mean, honestly, I don't think I could say it any better than he did. That, which I feel like most of us or all of us kind of agree upon, that in the end, it is a choice. That like, if you want to be in a poly like relationship, that's fine as long as everyone's in agreement. Obviously, don't, you know, be in a monogamous relationship and then, you know, like single-handedly choose to, you know, sleep with another woman without telling your partner. Like that's when like issues arise.
Hi, this is Ragini, the director of this episode. You can now stream your favorite episodes of Middle Ground on Spotify whenever you like. Please like this video if you enjoy watching it and subscribe to our channel. Now, let's get back to the video. Submissive women are more attractive than dominating women.
What do you think?
Bro, that all depends on what you like. Honestly. I don't want no dominating woman. But
me personally, submissive women are way more attractive to me than dominant.
That's how I feel, bro. Because I feel like dominant is a strong word.
Right.
That could go either way. And me personally, it's like what you said. I would want a submissive.
Right.
But you know, it all depends on what you like. That just goes back to the question of what we just gotta do listening. That could go either way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, bro, we just sat here and this dude just said he bisexual, like men and women, but he's been in a relationship with a woman for 30 years
right.
with 3 kids.
Right.
So, but to answer the question, nah, submissive.
Yeah, me personally, I like submissive women because I feel like one, you have to deal with less arguments.
Yeah.
Compared to a dominant woman, because the dominant woman is always gonna want to be on top of you. You know, like
she always gonna want to be right.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Instead of like, and then she's always gonna think like she knows best.
She thinks it's, in other words, like what I mean by dominant is she could think she's the man of the household,
exactly.
kind of thing.
Right.
Bro. Like, yeah.
And that's just not how it's not how it's gonna rock.
No sir. Hell nah. I ain't nah. I want to see what they gotta say.
Hell yeah. Listen, my shirt says submissive women are sexy. Okay, so
yeah, it's true, man. It's true. Look, I think one of the most beautiful things about love is being able to fully take care of a woman in every way, whether that's emotionally, protecting, providing, everything about that. Like every fairy tale that was ever written for all of time was about a man saving a woman from a castle and a dragon, right? Or some sort of scenario like that. And I think that's absolutely beautiful. And I have nothing against women being empowered, but I do feel like the happiest women in the world are the ones that look up to a man and that he can fight every day to love her and love his kids and his family and provide and be that source of something to actually look up to. Like, I believe a woman can admire a man, and it's very, very, very healthy. Am I saying that somebody that doesn't do that is not a man? No, I would never. But ideally, the relationships that are going to work, the relationships in, let's say, the 30s, 40s, 50s, or whenever, you know, we were having nuclear families stay together before we went off the gold standard and inflation pushed everybody to have 2 people have to have a job. Yeah, dude, I do. I think those relationships are much happier when the man can lead a house and be proud of going out and going to work every day and fighting for his family. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I think what we have to do is we have to look at general female happiness, because that's really what I'm into. Like, I don't really care what guys think or what girls think. I think I have a unique perspective in that I've worked with a lot of high-performing women that operate in this dominant role. And I work with them for the purpose of helping them be able to reintegrate with that more submissive, connected, intuitive part of themselves that really is connected to their bodies, that if they were connected to their bodies wouldn't be as dominant, at least in the presence of men. And with every woman that I've worked with, there is this deep, deep, deep desire, regardless of what she says externally, to submit to the leadership of a man that she knows can properly hold down the emotional space and really put her interest at the forefront.
Right, because when a woman is dominant over that man, she can't respect him. It's just impossible. Right, exactly. And the thing is with submission is like if you even look at the word submission, sub, under, a mission. If I have a mission and this woman is under my mission, meaning I'm leading her, right? Then that is a actual good relationship that's going to flourish.
Truly, deep down, every woman would love nothing more than to be more feminine in a role, in a family, and take on either that motherly role or that nurturing role, or the role that feels supportive to the overall mission of a man. It's just got to be a man worth getting behind, and weak men are the reason why this is a problem. Case in point, look at the workplace. You don't see women applying for jobs to be power line guys or hang steel at steel companies. They're not picketing outside of the United States Army being like, why won't you draft me? They don't want that smoke, bro.
Oh my gosh, bro.
I was not expecting to say that.
Said they don't want that
fucking smoke. Nah,
Hey.
but they're spinning right now, though.
Oh, yeah,
They're spinning
bro.
right now. I really
agree.
like what he said, too, about the whole sub and mission. And
Bro, yeah, he couldn't have said that any
Yeah.
better. I agree with him 100%. I agree with the submissive woman 100%, bro. Like, a dominating woman, like he said, bro, they're not going to respect you.
Exactly. Like, why would they? If they know they can have more control over it.
And it goes back to what he said. If you're dating a dominating woman or you're with a dominating woman, bro, you're not going to gain no respect. You're weak as a man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, bro, and especially if you have kids, who they supposed to look up to?
Exactly.
Like, bro, I don't need to walk in public and get into it with another man and my woman come and beat him up for me, bro.
And I also see it as like this, like, okay, like say in a scenario, random scenario, like your house is on fire, right? Kids stuck in the house. Someone has to go get them, right? It's either you or your wife.
Right.
Your wife is not going to want to go in a pit of fire to go save some kids, you know what I mean?
Right.
Obviously, you're going to be leaning to the man of the house to take care and sacrifice his life, if it comes to that, to come save the kids and the family, you know?
Yeah.
And so, like, I don't know, to me, it's like, you can have a dominating woman, but there's certain points where I feel like
There's
a dominating,
levels to it,
yeah,
bro.
there's a dominating woman that's not gonna want to do certain things. Like he said, they don't want that smoke with certain things, going to the army and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why me personally think naturally women are submissive. They're usually looking for a man to take care of the role, so they can stay home, take care of the kids while the dude's doing all the work.
Like, it goes back to what Buddy said. I want to be able to provide and support.
Exactly.
So,
And to me, like, that's like one of the biggest things in a relationship, as the man, as being the provider and being the person to take care of the woman, then taking care of the family with the kids and all of that, and taking care of the household. Like, I think that's like a real foundation of a relationship and a good family per se. Because, like you said, who are the kids supposed to be looking towards if one, they start acting up, or two,
Right.
they need some type of advice, especially if it's a son, you know?
oh, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, a lot of that makes sense. Like, I truly do think, like, a submissive woman is not only just more attractive to me, but easier to work with, per se.
Oh, yeah.
In a relationship to make it
Bro,
work.
it's like what we both said. Dominate. That's a strong.
It's a strong word.
That could mean anything. That could go either way within a relationship. So yeah, I'm very curious to the people that disagree.
Right.
I want to see what they got to say because they got to make some sense to me in order to believe it. Bro.
For sure.
And that's okay.
Right.
And I can't say enough. It's like, as a man, like, you get to take pride in taking care of a woman.
For sure.
Protecting women. What about your daughters, man? You want to protect and provide, care for them. That's okay. Let them be feminine. A strong man doesn't need you to be a man. He say, fine, you can be a woman. You're safe, sweetheart. You come with me.
Facts.
That's it. To be power line guys or hang steel at steel companies, they're not picketing outside of the United States Army being like, why won't you draft me? They don't want that smoke. And that's okay.
Right.
And I can't say enough. It's like, as a man, like, you get to take pride in taking care of a woman, protecting women. What about your daughters, man? You want to protect and provide, care for them. That's okay. Let them.
And another thing about that, bro, when he's saying like you can take pride in taking care of a woman, like in my past relationship, you know, that I just got out of, I felt that. Like that was the first time I really got in a real relationship, you know. So I felt that feeling of providing for the female and like being there for them, you know. And like the feeling you get inside as a man, you definitely it's a different type of feeling to know that yeah, I'm here as a rock for you, to know that you're gonna be okay no matter like what we go through. I got each other, you know what I mean? So I definitely understand what he's saying. Like it's always good to take pride of taking care of a woman. And nowadays, in the age we're in now, a lot of women think that's wrong. Like they want to all be independent. And I understand that, I get that. But at the end of the day, there's just a lot of things that a man would do that a woman would not choose to do. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And so yeah, I definitely like what they're saying right now for sure.
Them be feminine. A strong man doesn't need you to be a man. He say, fine, you can be a woman. You're safe, sweetheart. You come with me.
Right.
That's it.
There were just a few things that I disagree on. I think that in 2023 especially, I think women just want to be able to look to the side and see their partner as an equal. And I think a lot of women now I don't think they're trying to be men. I think what they're realizing is that the qualities that they were looking for in men, they've always had it within themselves. If women are submissive, it's mostly for, I want to say like the validation for the man. I think they know in the back of their heads, like they know now that they can do things on their own. I don't think they necessarily need a man, but I think what they're looking for is.
There's one thing about what he said is that I understand where he's coming from, but I disagree. The reason I disagree is because me, myself, I personally went through having the relationship of seeing my mom being by herself, taking care of me and my sister, you know, without my dad. You know, he'll help here and there, but like really seeing her take that toll of being a man and a mom at the same time, you know what I mean? So I see where he's coming from with that, and I agree. Like yes, women have that in the back of their mind, but I also saw the struggle that came with that, the stress that also came with that, and how hard it was for my mom to deal with certain things like that. And I know if my mom and my dad would have stayed together, or if my mom found some other dude that really would have taken care of her like how she deserved, I feel like she would have had less stress that she would have had to deal with, you know, and there would have been different situations that happened that wouldn't have happened, you know what I mean? And so like I get what he's saying, but at the same time, there's a lot that a man takes care of as in a household that a woman can do, but it's just a lot for a woman to do both jobs, you know what I mean?
So that makes her a dominating woman. I mean, there's different definitions.
What he's saying is like, as a dominant woman means like she can take control of like what's going on.
Situation,
exactly.
kind of.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so like that's why I understand where he's coming from, because yes, I've seen my mom take care of a lot of things that a man should have done, but my mom was able to do it. But like I just said, it came with a lot of stress and a lot of things that she also had to deal with mentally and other things, right? And so I do believe if there was another man that was able to take care of that whole situation like that, I don't think she would have went through the same stress that she had to go through whenever she was raising me and my sister when we were younger, you know?
Right.
And there's just like, that's why like I get what he's saying, but I don't know, at the same time I feel like a woman always needs a man for at least some type of help.
Bro, like,
yeah.
I'll throw an example, bro, like plumbing issues, bro, at home. You
Exactly.
honestly think a woman finna
That's a perfect example like too, that, because there was this one time where in my bathroom, I don't know if it was my shower or the toilet, something was leaking in the bathroom. my mom started breaking down crying because she didn't really know what to do. And I'm also assuming, I didn't, at the time I was young, so I didn't really understand, but I'm assuming at the time we didn't have the money to be able to just go fix that thing, you know what I mean? Because obviously she's a single mother, 2 kids, and paying for a house and all of that. And so I saw my mom break down and cry, and that really changed the whole aspect of how I view things, because I saw the stress that she was dealing with just to being a single mother.
Right.
And so, like, just like you said, like the plumbing issues, all that, that's why I think, like, if there's a man or something like that, it would have taken a toll on her as much as it did whenever it happened, you know? So yeah, I definitely agree with what you said right there.
There's that intimacy to have a partner, but I don't think that they require one.
Oh no, they do, because you know, a lot of these girls, they usually go home and cry at night from being.
I don't think they necessarily need them. I want to say, like, the validation for the man. I think they know in the back of their heads, like, they know now that they can do things on their own. I don't think they necessarily need a man, but I think what they're looking for is that intimacy to have a partner, but I don't think that they require one.
Oh no, they do, because you know, a lot of these girls, they usually go home and cry at night from being lonely, from not having a man. They have all these things, and then they're upset they don't have a man. You know what I mean? And I heard you say that, you know, women want to be the man's equal, but you don't see, and maybe this could just be a societal thing, a societal pressure, but you don't see women doing things that could make them equal to the men. You don't see the women approaching the men. You don't see the women paying for the dates. You don't see the women being more assertive to the man. You see what I'm saying? So where's that at?
Because they got options. They got so much more options than men.
I'll tell you what you do see. You see a high level of women on antidepressants more than ever, right? And I think that's a bunch of women trying to cope with trying to be like a man, when really, let me ask you a question. Are you more attracted to a woman that has a high-paying job or to a woman's beauty?
That doesn't matter to me.
It does matter. It does matter to me.
You asked me. You could,
but I would like to say
a mother figure rather than a woman.
Absolutely not. But I would like to say that you're saying that women, you know, have a higher, you know, have antidepressants, but men, I'm a social worker, so men 1 out of 10 are more likely to experience depression, but more likely to go undiagnosed and not seek therapy or help. So I do think, and women also, you have to consider the fluctuation in hormones, pregnancy, because that can alter, you know, their mental health. So I think that's kind of a moot point, but I feel like, you know, I'm not looking for a mother figure, I'm looking for an equal. So I feel like with, you know, if we're saying that women, you know, they're like going home crying, looking for men, I think it's also that societal pressure that tells you at the same time you have to have multiple women. They're telling the women you have to have that one man, that husband by a certain age, have kids by a certain age. There's more pressure on them than there is men. And for, you know, lack of a better term, I think men have gotten off a lot easier because women have so much pressure and they get judged more harshly than men do for talking about back then when men used to go home, bring home the bacon or whatever. You know, the domestic violence rate was pretty high during that time. And I'll also say that for people of color, we never really had the luxury of working one job. So my parents, you know, their parents before them, everybody always had to work, man and woman. So there was always that equal opportunity for them to be able to see that they could do it together as opposed to put that one pressure. And I also would like to ask, if you guys find submissive women more attractive than dominant women, is that because it makes you feel more validated as a man, or is there something there that you feel like feeds into your purpose as a man?
Yeah, well, it's a balance. If I'm a dominant person, I need a submissive. If I meet a dominant woman, we're gonna butt heads.
What if that changes? Like, what if she grows? Because I would love everybody to be able to grow throughout life. What if she starts becoming more dominant? Is that like a?
Are you saying if she starts becoming more dominant in our relationship?
More dominant or equal to your dominant?
Oh yeah, she's gone. She's finished.
We're done. And see, that's my thing. I got children. I don't need somebody else to take care of. And I love your thing about, you know, the Prince Charming and everything. But you know what I need? I need a badass woman who can match my badass energy. I work with my wife, and I'm gonna tell you, I take care of her. She takes care of me.
He was not with that,
bro. He was gonna laugh.
He was not with that answer.
He got me, bro. He got me. He was gonna laugh. He was gonna.
He looked at him. He was like, "Ain't no way." He just said that right now.
Bro, go back, bro. He was gonna laugh, bro.
Look at he's biting his lip, trying not to laugh.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. This is good stuff right here.
Nah, this is really good.
This is funny. Oh my gosh.
I work with my wife, and I'm gonna tell you, I take care of her. She takes care of me, and she's badass, and that's what I'm attracted to. I don't need a submissive that I have someone to take care of. And then it's fine. You know, if she goes through that, but then I'll be there and I will take care of her. But I'm not looking for somebody, another child to take care of and have to dominate and tell, you go over there. This is where we're going to go to dinner. This is where we're going to do that. No, that's why what he was saying, I was going to bring that fact up too. A lot of men are depressed because they're putting on this shield of I have to be the leader. I have to do this. And you know who goes to get help first? Women.
Okay, that totally makes sense. I think if we're talking about men not ever dealing with their emotions, it makes sense for this argument that you guys are talking about. But I'm a firm believer. I have gotten a lot of therapy in my life. I've done a lot of things for myself personally to resolve my own internal
one bar.
Yeah, I noticed.
conflict. Okay, so it's a job of alpha men. The real integrated alpha man has the capacity to understand what he's feeling, why he's feeling the way that he is, articulate in a way that is productive to the dynamic. So a real man is someone that understands himself deeper at an emotional level, has taken the time to do that so he can show up as a rock, not so he can show up more emotionally.
Problem is that if you're super emotional, when we talk about the whole thing of being submissive or dominant, your woman is going to dominate you because you're so emotional.
Emotionally unstable. Let's say that. Let's stop using emotional. Let's start using emotionally unstable.
Right. Since you're so emotionally unstable, she's going to dominate you, and then she's going to lose respect for you, and that's going to teeter the waters of the relationship.
That's where y'all bump heads.
So, I mean, you guys know dominatrix exists for a reason. And by the way, I used to personal train at dominatrix. You guys are their clients.
Not me, cowboy.
I'm being serious. Like, it's a very hidden thing. I used to date them. High positions of power, very alpha. But, like, here's the thing. I think you guys put a little bit too much pressure on yourselves. It might be a societal thing. I've dated submissive women before. I find them highly annoying. Sometimes I just want somebody to pick a choice. I like her places. She's got better taste than I do when it comes to that kind of stuff. So please, go ahead. We do butt heads once.
See, that's the thing, though. They're making it seem like a submissive woman has no choice of anything she does in a relationship.
They're making it seem like a submissive woman is like a sissy or
right,
something,
like if they're not even like a person type, like he said, like another kid to take care of. That's not how I see it.
I don't either. I see it as like a submissive woman, somebody that's looking for that support or whatever. But as soon as that dominant male may be down for whatever, may lost his job, she can still step in and provide. But at the end of the day, bro, I feel like dominating woman, like he said, like loses all respect.
And it does. And I agree with that too, especially like whenever you're emotionally unstable, because like me personally, I've seen that happen. Like whenever like you're going through something and then you think it's best to go talk to your lady. You can just feel the difference of how somebody feels about you and looks at you when you start opening up about the things you're going through, the emotion state you're in. Obviously, not everybody's gonna be perfect emotionally stable. You know what I mean? Especially men, because like they go through a lot. And so I understand what he's saying, but I don't know. Like me personally, I definitely see the difference whenever you talk to a woman or the person you're with about your emotions and all that. And nowadays, the ladies always say like, "Oh, like you could talk to me, you know, I'm here for that type shit," and they'd be like, "I wouldn't judge you and none of that." But I think subconsciously, women have that feeling of you shouldn't be crying in front of me or you shouldn't be opening up in front of me because you're supposed to be the leader of the relationship. You're supposed to be able to
handle everything.
Exactly. So, and like I think in their subconscious mind, I don't know because I'm not a woman, but this is what I've experienced, you know, in the past relationship, is that they feel like, what if they're like crying and they're going through something and then they want to come to you, but then you're already going through your own things and your emotional state and stuff like that. Then they start seeing you differently, you know, and then they start looking a different way to get that.
Meaning, this is how you're handling your situation.
How you're supposed to
help? How you're supposed to help me with mine?
Exactly. And so, I mean, I personally went through that and I've understood that now that everything passed. I understood that and I've changed my whole mindset on how to come across that, how to deal with that, you know. And obviously that comes with experience. You gotta, you know, dibble and dabble and shit like that. But me personally is like, I don't know. I feel like if for submissive women, you could probably get away with it a little bit easier.
You're not getting away with that with a dominant woman, bro.
You're not.
Sorry,
you're not exactly,
bro.
And then another thing, like what he said, what if a submissive woman starts becoming more dominant? That only happens whenever but that only happens whenever you start showing that other side of like the emotional stability and all of that. Like if you don't have that locked down as a man, you shouldn't be in a relationship. That's just how I think, how I see it. Because you're supposed to be the rock of the family.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
Nah, you just said it 100%. Like,
so
that's how it's supposed to be.
once in a
I'm not
while
gonna lie,
because
bro.
she is
The
dominant.
people that said they disagree, they losing right now.
You know, facts. That's a fact.
But does that mean she lost respect or attraction for me? No, not at all. And trust me on that one. So I think it does depend on your energy. You have a very high one, right? Maybe it doesn't mix well with somebody who also has a really high dominant energy. I'm not saying that's wrong because they exist for a reason, submissive people, right? But I just think for me, when it's very submissive, I don't find that as sexy. I find that annoying.
But see, and that makes sense. And the reason why, see, what happens is the more masculine you are, the more you want the woman to be submissive. The more dominant she is, then the more.
I don't know. I think I'm pretty fucking masculine, dude. And I don't want somebody that submissive.
I'm saying that in that moment you're in your feminine, but go ahead.
If you and your wife have like a conversation about a disagreement, and then you got like a healthy conversation, and then she ends up being right in the situation, would you consider her dominating me?
No, I consider her right.
So
Yeah.
what's your definition of like dominant? Like you
Yeah,
always have to
please,
be
I've been
right.
wanting-
No, it's not
this
about
since
right
the
and wrong.
topic
It's
came up.
about who's running the show.
So by her
Facts.
being right, is that not her?
No, that's just her being
No.
right in that conversation.
Yeah, a good leader would allow someone else to be right. A good leader
100%.
doesn't have to be right. He wants the team to win.
Because if you're, that doesn't. If you always think that you're right, you're not a good leader. You're just
There
a
you go.
dictator. You're just being arrogant. You know. You always see, and that's another thing too. I honestly feel like submissive women always have that intuition of kind of balancing, like he said, balancing it out. And if as a man, if you take the leadership role and you don't take that in consideration, you're just unvalidating her opinions and her feelings towards things that can go on in the house. You know, maybe the way you discipline your kids is supposed to like too strong or too hard on the kid, and if she comes to you telling you like you should like
Tone it
change your
down a
way,
little
stuff
bit.
like that, and then you just tell her like she's wrong, you're not really being a leader. That's just being a dictator. You're just thinking you're always right, and I think that's what they get it mixed up. I think they're thinking of as a dominant woman as anytime they're right, they're dominant. And so I think they got the interpretation of what it means to as a dominating woman and a submissive woman, to be honest.
Yeah, I think so too, bro. Like, I disagree with them 100%. Especially this dude right here. I think he got it twisted.
Yeah.
You know.
Man. In fact, I'd call a man insecure if he wouldn't allow a woman to be right on the subject she was clearly.
Facts.
I like that.
I do like that. And, you know, it goes back to the question of, like, what do you find more attractive? Because that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, it's a
That's the
preference.
remember. What's a preference? It's a preference. One of the things you said is, like, when you and your partner or girlfriend get into something and it's, like, a little heated, like, I get off on that.
Me, I totally don't get off on that. Like, I don't need any back talk. I don't need any lip. I don't need.
And not only just that, it's like the things that men got to go through the day, from jobs, stuff like that. They're all dealing with a bunch of bullshit,
Yeah,
as in
always
like
stress,
arguments, business stuff. You don't want to come home and then you got to deal with another
There you go.
argument, stuff like that. You want to come home to somebody that's gonna nurture you, take it, like just hold, like just
got
be there
food
for you.
on
You know what I mean?
table,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
and all
bro.
that.
Any attitude. It's my way or the highway. Like, I don't want none of
I
it.
didn't even have a conversation in the first place
Right,
about the
'cause
disagreement.
you're not having that conversation.
No.
So you just want to be challenged. You want to be challenged.
That's okay. Like, no back talk. I'm right.
That's a different thing. If we're talking about a topic and she's right about the topic, that's just how I was talking about the
Like an
topic.
opinion of yours or things that you
No, I'm talking about.
disagrees with.
If you make an opinion, you're saying you want no back.
No. I'm not talking about opinions. I'm talking about decisions. So we can have a conversation about a topic, but when it comes to a decision, the final decision is mine.
Let me change my. If we were to have a healthy discussion about a decision, which she
She
disagrees.
says, I disagree.
Right? She said. So if we say, hey, she wants to do A, B, and C, and I say, no, I want to do D, E, and F. Right?
Doing that.
We're doing D, E, and F at the end of the day. Now I will listen to what she says, and if I think A, B, and C sounds better,
it makes
then I say, okay,
sense.
yeah, let's do A, B, and C because
But you
that
don't
sounds
want back
better.
talk in the first place.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. I want to keep watching.
I want to keep watching this too. Let's charge this for a little bit.